Okay guys, video number 2 for today, and we're going to make caramel slices, chocolate caramel slices, and this is one of our favourite treats. We don't have them all the time, probably a couple of times a year at the most, and they're really super easy to make and they're really super tasty as well. So the ingredients are quite simple, we'll just go through them. So we have flour, and I use whole wheat flour for the base. I think it gives a little bit of a crunch to the base, which just is nice with the caramel. Some sugar, and I use organic sugar. I use organic flour as well. So just some organic sugar. Some butter that has been softened. It just makes it easier to mix the base, which is kind of like a shortbread base. And some good quality dark chocolate. This is a 70% cocoa dark chocolate. And a tin of sweetened condensed milk. And one ingredient that I like to put in the chocolate at the top, and it also stops it cracking, is some organic extra virgin coconut oil. So really all we need to do in the beginning is we just need to grab a bowl and we need to chuck in our flour, we chuck in our sugar, and we chuck in our butter. Make sure that we get it all out of there. And as I say, we're simply just making a shortbread base. So we just mix all of that up together until it's all mixed up, and as you can see, it sticks to your hands. It doesn't take too long to do this. If you use butter that's a little bit too cold straight out of the fridge, it takes a lot longer to mix up together, and this way you're just not wasting your time so much standing here taking ages. So as you can see, that was really quick and that's almost done. So we just need to make sure that we go around the bowl picking up any little stragglers of flour. And what you're looking for is this to clump together. So if you take a handful of the mix and then squeeze it, it will stay together, and that's what we want for the base. So this is now done. So you will need a square dish. If you haven't got a square dish, a rectangle dish will do. This is about just over 8 by 8 inches, and that is just good for this amount. So we just throw the base in and just break it up a little bit in there, because we're going to actually push this down with the back of a spoon. I'll just clear my hands off. So you want it spread out as evenly as you can get it, and you can use the back of a spoon or you can just simply use your fingers just to push it right down. Make sure you get it all into the corners of the dish, and you want it compacted so it stays together when you cut it. If it's not been compacted enough, it tends to break apart. So make sure you give it a good push down all into the base of the dish. And that's about good there. So we were doing that. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to pop that into the oven. The oven's on 360 degrees Fahrenheit, and I do apologise, I'm not sure what that is in centigrade. But what we're wanting is this to brown up nicely. When this is brown, it can come out and we can move on to the next stage pretty much straight away. It doesn't really need to cool down. As I say, this is a really quick recipe. So we're going to pop this into the oven and I'll get back to you when it's done. Okay, so our base has come out of the oven and it's still a little bit warm, but I can just about pick it up. And as you can see, we have a nice brown base there. So the next step is just as easy as that was, and all we have in our container here is a knob of butter. Now, when you make the caramel, you need to have quite a tall dish, and the reason why is because it actually starts to bubble up. As the caramel works, it will start to bubble up, and you need to keep an eye on that. I use the microwave. And so you have to keep stopping and starting, and obviously if it boils over, one, you've got a huge mess in the microwave, and secondly, you're going to lose half of your caramel filling, so you really do need to keep an eye on that. So as I say, we have a knob of butter in there, and all we're going to do is add in our whole tin of condensed milk. And again, make sure that you are scraping this out. We don't want to leave any behind because we all want as much caramel filling as possible. So I'm just using the spoon there just to get the last scrapes of that out. And now this will go in the microwave, and we will cook this until it thickens, and it will slightly change colour. So I'm going to spare you the microwave part, and I will bring you back when the caramel filling is done. Okay, so we have our caramel, and at this point you need to be really careful because this is molten hot. And as you can see, it has thickened up, and it took in our microwave about 6 minutes to get to this point. And our microwave is very low powered, so you just need to keep an eye on it depending on how high powered or low powered your microwave is. So we're looking for a thickish consistency, and it's slightly changed colour, very slightly. If you leave this go too long, it will actually burn and go brown, and then it's ruined. You have to start again. So all we're going to do now is we're just going to pour this very carefully, because as I say, it is very hot, onto our base. And what this will do, this will thicken up to form a thicker caramel. At the moment you may think it's a little runny, but you can see as it's coming off here and cooling, it's actually thickening up as we speak. So we just spread the caramel over the base as evenly as we can, like that. Because I know in our household, if we have the caramel at different levels, people try to fight over the slices. And again, just make sure that we scrape what we can out of the bowl. So what we have so far, we have the biscuit base or the shortbread base and the caramel topping, and we need to leave this go cold now, completely cold, so that we can do the next layer, which is the chocolate and the coconut oil. So we're going to leave this to go cold. Just off topic from the caramel slices slightly, a couple of weeks ago I did a no yeast bread that we made from a starter, which was just flour and water. And since that I have used continuously the same starter. So what I actually do is when I make the bread, and before I bake it, I will break the bread open and I will take out some of the starter, as you can see in the jar here. And that will actually start the next bread. Now that little bit of starter will actually sour 3 cups of bread. And you know, you get some odd funny shaped loaves, but it's nice. It's not too sour, even the children like this bread. So check that video out, I will actually put a link to that, it's well worth watching. So what we're doing now is we're just going to wait for the caramel slices to completely go cold, and then we will come back and do the chocolate. Okay guys, so we're ready to do the chocolate topping, and I'll just show you the base. So as you can see, it's nice and solid, it's not runny, although it did look runny earlier, the caramel there, it's solidified nice. So we're just going to do the chocolate. So we have our chocolate broken up into small pieces in a bowl, and we're just going to add in the coconut oil or aspeners. So there's a good dessert spoon of coconut oil that goes in there. There we go, just put that in there. And we're going to pop this into the microwave. We can do it over a bain-marie, which we will suspend this over a pan of hot water, which just slowly melts the chocolate. Sometimes in a microwave, with it being high, it can actually burn or really badly burn your chocolate. Actually, I've had that happen, especially with the darker chocolate. The coconut oil does help with that a little bit. So we're just going to pop this in the microwave until it's nice and melted together, and then we can pop it on the top of our caramel. Okay, so we have a nice glossy melted chocolate and coconut oil, and all we need to do now is pour this on the top of our caramel in a nice even layer. And the coconut oil just gives it a really nice gloss. So I'm going to be a little bit cack-handed for a minute, just while I scrape the bowl out. And I will put all the ingredients and quantities in the description below, because you guys have to give these a try, because they're just so super easy to do. And I can tell you that what's in this bowl is not going to go to waste. So that will go there, and I'm sure there'll be some girls that want to scrape that. So all I'm doing is I'm just going to roll the chocolate around the top, like so. And there we have the chocolate all done on the top. So we have the chocolate, and we have the caramel, and we have the shortbread base. And all we need to do now is have some patience and put this in the fridge to set. So the top's nice and set and hard, so we can cut them easily. And we're going to do that right now, pop this in the fridge, and we will be back in a little bit. Okay, our caramel slices have come out of the fridge and they're ready, and as you can see, we've just cut them up into little squares. And as usual with anything like this, one square is never enough. So I'll just bring these right up so you can see. And as you can see, we have the biscuit layer, the caramel layer, and then the nice layer of chocolate on the top. So you guys have to make these. They're an absolute must. You won't be sorry. So if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and click the bell icon and share. And I will see you in the next video.